So I know, Dylan, you do. I'm going to kind of submit the floor to you about Summit, how you figure out about it. I mean, basically, and just out of the, I own it too. I own it at obviously a much higher price point than Dylan, but go ahead, Dylan.
Yeah, sure. So the short story of Summit is I had known about Bob Duggan's earlier company, Pharmacyclics, because he became sort of made headlines and stuff like that, was famous in for selling that for 21 billion to AbbVie. And he had a great return. He got in his according to his paperwork, he got in the stock, I think $700,000 in 2007, I believe is the first filing I could find, that he invested into the company, eventually owned 7% of the company. And when it sold, ended up being $3 billion. So it was a, 2007, 2012, I believe was the whole time. And so about 5 years, he put, I'm forgetting the exact amount, 7 million, whatever it was. It at the end ended up being $3.25 billion, and then I think after tax about $3 billion, roughly. I'm just assuming his tax situation. I don't know. I didn't file his taxes, but so yeah, phenomenal return for him, obviously in that case, and for the shareholders, the stock started around the 2007 2008 time period around $2 and ended up getting sold for $212. So again, 100x return, total home run. And Duggan has done a lot of things like this in the past. He's had a lot of success with companies in the past. So yeah, I sort of when I read that, I sort of, well, when you're looking at getting like a 10% return, and you look at someone getting 100 bagger over here, and you're like, wow, that sure speeds up the process, doesn't it? Like I sure wish. So I was sort of like wistfully thinking about that. And then I ran into, I sort of scan the overall market, so to speak, and kind of see what stock's moving, what stock's not, what the news is, whatever. And I'd seen in around December 2022 that a company called Summit Therapeutics had popped up. And I looked into it, and Duggan had just recently spent $500 million of his own money buying the rights to a cancer drug. And I was like, are you kidding me? This is amazing. So the market, so Summit Therapeutics, Bob Duggan sort of bought his way into it, so to speak. He bought enough of the company that he, got on the board of directors, became the CEO, and all that sort of stuff. But it was a biotech earlier and was doing antibiotics before. And then he kind of just like went there and like sort of not U-turn the company, but kind of like all of a sudden turned that way. And then he brought his management team in from Pharmacyclics. So I don't know why they had that gap between 2012 and 2022. Maybe there was a non-compete or whatever, but where they weren't able to be into biotech after he was bought out. I'm not sure. I can't find that information anywhere why he had that, such a large break. But that's my assumption. Some kind of non-compete or something like that. It could be his preference. Who knows? But anyways, so you're back in that, and I was looking at the stock. It was about gotten up to about $4 or $5 at that point, and the market cap was I think it was like 220 million. So pretty relatively small company at the time. So I became very interested in that by seeing how much money he'd put in himself. He bought a lot of shares. He had loaned the company money out of his own pocket to buy these rights to this cancer drug. So as I dug into it, and the stock went down after the news, and that was what really got me excited, is that because of the weight, and somehow people weren't, the market was not valuing this company correctly. Literally, how many companies has the CEO put $500 million of his own money behind the rights to this cancer drug that no one's heard about yet? I mean, this sounds like a dream come true, and it has ended up being, phenomenal. So yeah, and eventually the stock drifted down to the low ones. So yeah, I got a major position at that point, and as well as some other investors in the stock, and it's it's been phenomenal. It's around $18 right now. So it's been a great ride, and I don't know why. I mean, I know that the stock was very thinly traded. It had no analysts when it was falling, so it was kind of just retail money in there at that point. I guess the analysts had dumped it after their antibiotic product, antibiotic, their antibiotic drug or pill, whatever they were working on before then, had failed trials. The stock had crashed, and the company was sort of just fading at that point. So I guess the analysts had sort of written it off at that stuff because they had no analyst, it had no institutional ownership. It was just very, very early. So yeah, I was sort of lucky, but not exactly lucky because I've been scanning the markets every day for years looking for something like this. So yeah, I guess you could say it paid off eventually is probably a better way to say that, since it's not like I happen to buy a lottery ticket and won $1 million or something. So,
No, for sure. And that's the thing is that by the way, the ticker and the ticker is SMMT. Sam, Mary, Tom, for those of you listening, for Summit Therapeutics, if you want to do it. And it's trading at, let's see, 1782 right now. It had a big day on, a big day on Friday. Wouldn't you say, Dylan, up 4.58%?
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I'm surprised the market is actually not as optimistic as it has been. I mean, they've been trying to do this FDA submission for the phase 3 trial pretty much since May, when they had a big crash in the stock on May 30th, May 31st, right around there. The market's been sort of like, the management's been sort of like, we're soon going to be doing the FDA approval, and some investors are not very patient, so they've been sort of looks like they've been sort of dumping the stock for more excitement. So, which is fine. I'm a very impatient investor. I don't have a problem waiting for that FDA approval, because that will likely, my estimate is double the stock price. So, and that's the management said it by the end of the year. So that's I feel warm and fuzzy waiting for that. Even if they don't make it this year, it's early next year. I feel very confident about that. So yeah.
So sticking your neck out there a little bit, your price target.
Yeah, exactly. Look back and see what I said.
This is what we do, listeners and family.
Yeah, we make predictions with varying degrees of certainty. This one I'm about 99% sure of.
So 99% sure certainty, just so.
Not the end of the year, but in the near future.